Hello, Kera.
Hi, Sandra. How are you?
I'm good. What about you?
So good to meet you. Yes, I'm good.
Yeah,
Friday.
Friday. I'm also very, very happy to meet you and for other members in the group. Just for you to know, I'm a big fan of Kera, and
Aw.
we're gonna get to that in a minute, right? I would definitely encourage people to follow you on LinkedIn. I'm gonna put your link to LinkedIn profile so that people can connect. Thank you for being my guest today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So who is Kera? Tell us a bit about your background. What do we need to know?
Mm, um, like for me, I have always been a helper. Like I love helping people. So I started my career like always like what I wanted to be like a psychologist, I wanted to be a financial advisor, I wanted to like be in whatever capacity. And I ended up finding my place in like process improvement and keep helping people's work more efficiently. I just love to see people have that wow on their face, and it's just like they don't have to do something mundane in their lives anymore. So, and right, my LinkedIn mission is, you know, helping people that need jobs, right? I feel like I have been in a layoff situation twice in the last year and have been floored, absolutely stunned by how hiring has changed and really disadvantaged a lot of people. So I've been working to change that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sorry, did you want to say something? Sorry.
Mm-mm.
And in fact, right, like you have been helping, in my opinion, a lot in terms of the videos you have been creating over LinkedIn in terms of recruitment process, etc. But let's go a bit, if I may, because I know that a lot of
Yes.
people have been in a situation of being laid off, right? And then kind of finding yourself, and now what, you know? So how did you go through those processes? What were maybe certain learnings, takeaways, anything you can share with the group that could be useful and helpful?
Oh my gosh, so much. So my whole career was the person that worked late at the office, above and beyond, like tried to make myself indispensable so I would never be in a layoff situation, right? And I'm going to make myself so valuable they couldn't think about it. So it's really an eye opener to be like, you know, you can be like the best employee ever, but if they decided to change their business or, you know, their business is not doing as well, they're just going to let you go. And so I started, you know, along with the pandemic happening at the same time, just reevaluating my priorities and be like, I don't need to stay late and like over dedicate my life and my time and my stress, even after work, thinking about work.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it takes that takes that ownership of your time away from you. And so it's like, no, I'm not gonna take that perspective to work anymore. I'm not gonna let it overrun like my life because I'm worried about something happening that's gonna may happen anyway.
And you know, through my work, because I obviously also coach people in these situations, etc., right? And what I've noticed is that a lot of time people are like that, right? Like, I don't want to give everything to my work. What about my life? It's enough, you know, let's cut it here. But then what happens is that they kind of start feeling guilty, right? Am I doing it or am I not doing enough? How am I going to be perceived? What will people think? Like, have you dealt with maybe some things like that? Any thoughts and feelings?
Oh yeah, definitely, because it's like you know, if you have a boss that works late or, you know, they have this expectation or they, you know, the people around you are all working late and you're the one that's not working late. And it's like, are you underperforming? To me, it's just been about finding the environment and the people and the boss that thinks that same way that, look, I know you have a family, you have a life outside of work. You know, this does not have to be done tonight. You can do it first thing in the morning, or, you know, when you have time off, you really have time off. Don't worry about us. So I it's important to find people with the same mentality, because unfortunately those kinds of ideas still persist, and I think it's changing. But yeah, you definitely don't want to put yourself in a position where you're going to feel like you're doing things that you don't want to be doing.
Mm. Yeah, or in other words, really focusing on what you can control and influence and change rather than trying to do the impossible, maybe, of changing others, right? You cannot change the whole environment, but
Right, exactly. And I really applaud those that are standing up to, employers that are just like, look, and people I see like making videos and they're like, yeah, you can't call me on my time off.
yeah.
Like, trying to change the mindset. And it's like, what are they going to do? You legally have that time off. So I think there's a lot of great change makers out there doing that, being very brave, in my opinion, and working to change. So if you feel comfortable doing that, I think that's great too.
Yeah. But what I find, what you mentioned, right? Like if you are the one who, let's say, finishes at 5, but then you have other 20 colleagues who are there until 10, of course you're gonna be like, what's wrong with her, right? But if you unite and all of you have the same kind of vision for changing, then it's probably much easier to change, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's funny, I was in my first job, and this is what kind of colors my experience and give me that kind of traumatic, I can't not work. It's like they said I needed to work at least 70 hours a week or they would fire me. And it was like, we did not have 70 hours of work. Like we were literally sitting there after hours, just like talking. They just wanted the appearance of people working hard. So it's just so much change needs to happen.
Wow, that's like, why? Like why? Doesn't make any sense at all, really. But
no.
So I heard you mentioning, right, like in those moments when you did go through being laid off and you faced the recruitment world, I heard you saying like you were like, whoa, what's happening? So what was happening?
I had been in one job for almost 10 years, so I hadn't been, job seeking in a while, but it was just like I was, okay, so I was sending out resumes and not hearing anything. And I was just like, that's kind of weird. Like I never like had to, spend as much time, applying and stuff like that. And I started doing some research and it's like, oh, keywords, you need to match the keywords, which I was like, what the heck are they talking about? Like, I mean, like, it took me a while to figure out what they meant. And it's like truly matching words, which is insane. So that the ATS, I learned about that. I learned about there's new laws that say, and this is in the US, that say that you have to meet 100% of the requirements or they can't even consider you. So if they put 5 to 7 years, it's 5 to 7. I mean, and it's like if you have 4 years, that doesn't make, I mean, there's just so many things,
right? Oh, wow. And what then? What did you do then? Like, how did you go about that?
Well, I paid for a resume writer, and it didn't work. And of course they offered me some kind of guarantee. And so I went back to them and was like, I'm not getting interviews. And they were like, you were submitting your resume in PDF, not Word. And that's why. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I kept applying. I'm still not getting anything or very little. I've hired another resume writer. Spent so much money, like over $1,000 on all of it. Yes, exactly. Because I was like, look, if this is what it takes to get a job, I will, pay the money, but not everyone has, the resources to do something like that or wants to feel like they're wasting their money. So I made another resume writer and I thought she did a better job, but still it's not enough to get you interviews. So then you can cut me off if this gets too long, but then I used JobScan to match those keywords and I started getting interviews.
All right.
So I got one job through that way and then I got laid off again and I still could not get, and then I was like, okay, at least now I'm a little bit more educated this time. So I started applying, but I didn't get interviews hardly ever. I had only if I could get referred
Mhm.
in by somebody I knew, then I would get an interview, but not based on my resume alone, which is, it's like I feel like I've got a really good background. I've got, a fair amount of accomplishments, but still like can't get called in and see all these people on LinkedIn
Yeah.
not getting jobs is very frustrating for them too.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you question, like, what's the point of me writing the CV, sending the CV, if I'm not getting anything out of it, right? It's wow. That's all right, all right. And then, how did the idea? Because again, the reason why I'm such a big fan of Kera is because of all these amazing videos you have been
Oh, thank
making,
you.
and the approach you have, right? It's a funny video, but very educational video. So how did you come up with those videos? Like the idea of making them, I mean.
Yeah, I was just going through Instagram and I see people making these like short, funny videos, and I was like, I want to try that. So I did one, and I was so scared, Sandra. You know how it is, like the first time on camera and the first time you're really putting yourself out there was really hard. Um, and then I started doing it more and more, and it's just making fun of the situations, because like the ghosting, or like the sending the resumes and not hearing anything, or the keywords. I mean, there's so many weird things that don't really make sense that people are like so frustrated and angry over. And I was like, to me, it's like whenever I'm looking at a situation that doesn't seem right, I just find the humor in it. Like, that's ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. So then I started YouTube channel, The Hiring Circus. I've made over 50 videos now, and it's just amazing, the response. It's just to make people laugh that are going through a hard time, which is really rewarding to me. So I keep doing it.
And that's such a beautiful way, what you shared before, right? Like you have always been about helping people, giving people, and this is a great way, especially finding a job, searching a job, like job application as such can be very, very stressful. So let's make it a bit more, I don't know, comfortable or funny, let's find humor in it. So what has been response? Like what were maybe some typical feedbacks you have been receiving from people so far?
Well, what's most fun is when people like want to collaborate or share their story. People's inspiration as like videos, sources for video ideas, and then tag them so that they can see their life in action and funny. Generally, people just like it. Just gets their week started, because I always post Monday at like 8 a.m. Central to, because it's the beginning of the week, things are kind of cloudy. It's just like get it off to a nice, happy start. And yeah, overall, it's been really positive. Yeah.
Do you have any plans maybe to, or basically, let me ask like this, what are the future plans for the Hiring Circus? Do you have any?
I am like gradually upping the quality of the videos. I got a green screen recently so that I can do, different backgrounds, not just like my house. And that gets old. I mean, I just want to keep upping the ante and giving people better stories. And I'd like to, and I have seen a little bit of this, like recruiters seeing the videos and being like, that really doesn't make sense. And I think when you're in a position for so long, just doing it, you never take a step back and like, this is actually kind of weird. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. So that is also part of the reason why I do the videos. And really my focus is just growing and trying to reach more people that are in the situation.
And keep doing it, please. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Kera, just in terms of, you mentioned something very, very interesting, and something that I know that a lot of people also find challenging, and that is getting out there, right? Having this fear, oh my God, I was scared first video. I also remember my first video, it took me like 45 minutes to record 2 minutes. And I was like, what am I doing? Like what is it? So how did you get out, over that fear of getting out there, posting it and just, becoming more visible really?
It really has just been positive feedback and support from people, and people, like you said, wanting to see more. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess I am, it makes people laugh, and it is worth the time and the effort. And also, like, it's rewarding to support others that are putting themselves out there. If you see a post or something, or somebody's first post, or maybe hasn't gotten a lot of attention, to like and comment on it, and just feeling that sense of community, especially being isolated now still somewhat. It's given me a whole community because I'm working remotely. I don't interact with coworkers, but now I have this LinkedIn worker community that I feel connected with, and I get to hear their stories and feel more connected to the world. So I think all of this positive reinforcement and cycle and feedback, it just helps not only you, but everybody else that's feeling that way. Because I think everybody, I mean, even like some of these really big people, I'm sure they still feel like, should I post this, or that last post didn't do that well. It's just a point is, if you feel like you're making a positive impact and you enjoy doing it, just keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And also, right, surround yourself with people who are maybe in similar situation, or in general just who are out there, so you don't, because what happens, especially now, right, when we are working a lot remotely, etc., we're so much into our heads, right, in our heads, and you start thinking and overthinking and this and that, and then you do it and you're like, well, this wasn't that bad at all, right? So it's
right,
kind of having right crew around you, really, to push you and make you feel better and inspire you.
Exactly. I love what you're doing too. It's like you are really like created this community where people can do that, and like maybe that's the first step. They post in the group, so a little bit more of a safe place.
Yeah,
and get comfortable doing that before they post outside would be another good approach.
Yeah, it's true, exactly. And that was my idea, right, to make this group a closed group. I made it intentionally closed because when it's public, you like, it's very easy to lose control and lose this sense of the mission, right? Like this, I know exactly who is joining. Everyone who is joining is clear on what they can expect there, and it's a safe environment, and people feel much more safe to really share. Whereas when you don't know who might be reading, or so I think, but thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you find it valuable. Now, Kara, if you could go back in time, I like to ask this question. What would be maybe something you wish you knew before, an advice you can give to your younger self, let's say?
Would think if I could go back, I would say to myself, don't focus so much on being liked. For when I was younger, I want everyone to like me. Like the girl that hated me in middle school, I was like me. Now it kind of like, makes me cringe or whatever. But I think the most important thing is to surround yourself with people that not all like you as far as similarities, but people that challenge you and they help you to grow, they support you, they don't bring you down, and I held on to people for a long time that were not that way, very much opposite that way, just because I felt like I had to, like I couldn't separate myself. But I have grown so much faster and easier and without interruption, that like where you grow and then you fall back, right, because somebody is a negative influence. So just surround yourself with the right people and don't feel like you owe them your presence when they aren't appreciative of it.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I think every person I spoke with so far had at least mentioned the importance of, right, surrounding yourself with the right people. And exactly what you're also saying, people who challenge you, people who, and what I find also very important is people who are, sometimes even brutally honest with you, not from a point of view to make you feel bad, but exactly the opposite, because they love you, because they care about you.
Right.
Because, sometimes, not sometimes, but like you want to be around people who tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear necessarily, right? It's a big difference.
Very, absolutely.
Yeah. And also, if they want to change you, core you, those are not the right people for you, right? That's another.
Exactly. Yeah, I like saying, I wish you were more like, well,
Yeah.
you know, that's how I am. So
yeah, exactly.
maybe we're not a fit. And that's not, you know, it's like, it's okay. Like, to take it personally or anything. Not everybody jives together, and that's okay.
Exactly. It's not that you're wrong, I'm right, or vice versa. It's just that you're different, and that's fine. That's fine, right? There's nothing wrong about that. So it's all right. So in terms of now giving and asking for support, what is something on top of your mind maybe that you can offer to the group, or something that you ask from the group that comes for you now?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I would ask the group what parts of their life or things that they see in their life that they wish were different, you know, and you know, if they could, what's their ideal, you know, of that situation, and then, you know, kind of think about have other people moved from a difficult situation to a better situation that, you know, can relate some ideas on how they did that. So I think we can not like our situation and feel stuck, even though we know that there is a better version that you're wishing for yourself. So I'd love to hear more about what the group has to say.
Yeah, that's a very good question, especially because sometimes you know that you aren't happy, you know that it can be better, and still you're not doing anything about it, right? That's like, what's the point that you need to reach when you're like, okay, now it's enough?
Yeah, exactly. And how have other people done that? How do you get to that point and, you know, make the switch? Very tough, but it's worth it usually in the end.
Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, when you think about it, time goes by so quickly, and like, you know, it doesn't make sense to waste it. And yeah, you're not doing anyone a favor, to yourself, to others, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Agree.
All right. Well, Kera, I think for today, I think we can go on and on. Thank you so much for your time. As I said, I really encourage members to check your videos, to connect with you. There's a lot of learnings. Also, maybe if anyone wants to share some of their experience, especially with recruitment, I think you will be happy to share how to, you know, go through it with the humor, with a smile on their face, right?
Yes, that's right. We can get through it together.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you once again. And I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.